The last meeting of the Council. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was silent but tense. Tall windows showed the vast stars beyond, cold and distant. The council members sat around a huge circular table. Each was from a different species, many powerful and ancient. They were the keepers of peace in this part of the galaxy. Today was no ordinary meeting. The council had received the final message from Earth. Humanity, once a rising power in the galaxy, was leaving. The message said, "It is too late to fix what is broken. We are leaving the stars behind." The council leader, a tall being with silver skin named Varn, looked around at the others. "We stand at a crossroads," Varn said slowly. "The humans have given up. They are leaving the galaxy. We must decide if we will try to stop them or let them go." One of the council members, a small, reptile-like creature called Rax, hissed angrily, "Why should we care? Humans caused chaos, they broke alliances and started conflicts. Let them leave and never come back." Another member, a wise and calm figure called Laura, shook her head. "Rax, humans may be flawed, but they showed strength and courage. They once stood against threats no one else could face. If they leave now, it will change the balance of power forever." In the corner, a young council member named Miko, from a peaceful race of beings called the Selari, listened quietly. Miko had always admired humans. He remembered stories of their courage and their stubborn refusal to give up, even when the odds were against them. Suddenly, the council chamber's screens lit up with a live feed from Earth. The camera showed the great cities, now quiet and empty. The skies were gray. Ships were gathering at spaceports ready to leave. The voice of a human leader came through the speakers. "To the Galactic Council and to all who hear this message, we have tried to live among the stars. We have fought, lost, and learned. But our home is broken beyond repair. We cannot fix what is broken here or in ourselves. We must return to Earth. This is our final departure." The room was filled with a heavy silence. The council members exchanged worried looks. Varn finally spoke. "Is it really too late to stop this? Have we failed to help our human allies?" Laura answered softly, "It is not just about us. It is about humanity's will. They have made their choice. We can watch or we can act, but we must understand why they chose this path." Miko stood and said, "I believe we should visit Earth. Speak to them directly. Maybe we can understand their pain and find a way to help." Some members nodded, but others shook their heads. Rax growled, "Waste of time. Humans brought this on themselves." Varn raised his hand. "The Council will send a delegation to Earth. We will watch their final days and see if there is hope for change." As the meeting ended, the council members rose and left the room, their faces heavy with worry. The stars outside seemed colder than ever. Meanwhile, far from the council chambers, the humans prepared their last journey. A young pilot named Mark stood by his ship. His eyes were filled with sadness. He loved the stars, but he understood why. They had to go back. The galaxy had been harsh to humans. They had fought many enemies, lost many friends, and suffered betrayals. Mark's ship was old and worn, but it was the symbol of hope for many. Today, it would carry the last humans out of the galaxy. As the sun set over the empty cities of Earth, Mark took a deep breath and looked to the stars one last time. "Maybe someday," he whispered, "we will return. But for now, it is too late to stop it." Journey to a fading world. The council's delegation traveled in a sleek ship, silent among the stars. Miko sat quietly, watching the distant blue planet grow larger on the viewport. Earth, once vibrant and full of life, now looked tired and worn inside the ship. Varn and Laura prepared for their meeting with the human leaders. The atmosphere was heavy. This was not just a diplomatic mission. It was a chance to understand why the humans had chosen to leave. Miko felt a deep sadness. How did it come to this, he wondered. Why did the humans give up? When the delegation finally landed on Earth, they were greeted by a small group of humans. Among them was Mark, the pilot from before, and an older woman named Anna, one of the last leaders trying to hold their world together. Anna spoke first. "We are tired. Our world is broken. Pollution, wars, hunger. We fought hard, but it's never enough. Our people are losing hope." Varn nodded. "We saw the message. But we want to understand more. Why leave the stars behind instead of fighting for a future?" Mark stepped forward, his voice steady but quiet. "The galaxy is dangerous. We learned that the hard way. Our ships were slow, our enemies were many, we lost too much, and here at home, we lost what made us strong, hope and trust." Laura looked around at the empty streets. "Is there no way to rebuild? To find new strength?" Anna sighed. "Maybe one day. But now our people want to return to the simple things, to heal Earth first. The stars, they will have to wait." Miko felt a surge of emotion. Humans are strong, but even the strongest can break when their spirit fades. The council members stayed with the humans for several days. They saw the struggles firsthand: cities with power outages, farms struggling to grow food, families torn apart by past conflicts. One night, Miko sat beside Mark and asked, "Do you think there is any hope to change your people's mind?" Mark looked at the stars, faint but still visible. "I don't know, but I hope so. The stars gave us dreams once, maybe one day they will again." As the delegation prepared to leave, Varn spoke softly. "The galaxy will watch, but perhaps the story of humanity is not over. Sometimes the hardest battles are fought within." The council ship lifted off, leaving Earth behind. The humans were ready to leave the galaxy, but the council's eyes stayed on them, waiting to see what the future held. Echoes of the past as the council ship soared away from Earth. The delegation reflected on what they had witnessed. The planet below was quiet, scarred by years of struggle, but still alive. The humans' decision to leave was not made lightly. It was the result of deep wounds both on their world and within their people. Back on Earth, Mark prepared for the final departure. The spaceport was filled with the last few ships, their engines humming softly in the cool night air. Families gathered, sharing quiet goodbyes. The excitement and hope that once filled these places were replaced by a heavy sadness. Mark's mind drifted back to the early days of humanity's rise among the stars. He remembered the first explorers, filled with wonder and determination. They faced dangers, yes, but also forged new friendships. They were proud and hopeful, but pride could turn to stubbornness and hope to despair. Among the crowd was a boy named Liam, only 12 years old, who looked up at the ships with wide eyes. To him, the stars were still a place of mystery and adventure. His mother held him close, whispering, "One day, Liam. Maybe one day we will return." Mark saw the boy and felt a flicker of hope. Maybe the next generation would be different. Meanwhile, the council gathered to discuss what they had learned. Laura said, "Humans are not defeated by enemies alone. Their greatest battle is with themselves." Varn nodded. "We cannot force them to stay or fight, but perhaps we can help them heal." Miko spoke softly. "Sometimes leaving is a way to find strength again. Maybe their story will continue, but on their own terms." As the humans boarded their ships, the last starship called Endurance prepared to leave Earth's orbit. Mark stood at the helm, looking once more at the planet that had been their home for thousands of years. He whispered, "It's too late to stop it now. But maybe it's not too late to change what comes next." The Endurance launched into space, leaving behind a world full of memories, pain, and a faint hope for the future. Silent watchers, as the Endurance and the other human ships left Earth's orbit, the Galactic Council observed silently from afar. The stars, once alive with human activity, now felt emptier. The departure was not just physical. It was the fading of a presence that had once challenged the galaxy. Back on the council ship, Miko stared at the screens showing Earth growing smaller. He felt a deep sadness. "Humans have so much potential," he said softly. "But their pain runs too deep." Varn replied, "Their struggle is a lesson for all. Strength is not only in weapons or ships, but in the spirit." When that breaks, even the strongest fall. Laura added, "We must remember this if we are to survive the challenges ahead." Meanwhile, aboard the Endurance, Mark sat alone in the cockpit. The vast emptiness of space stretched before him. He thought about the Council's words, about strength and spirit. "Maybe they're right," he whispered. "Maybe it's not just about fighting others, but fighting ourselves." The crew around him was quiet, many lost in their own thoughts. Some hoped to find a new home, others only wished to heal from old wounds. Suddenly, a message came through the ship's comms. It was from Earth, a final signal, a simple broadcast. "Goodbye, stars. Hello, home." The message was short, but it carried the weight of 1,000 stories, hopes, and regrets. Mark looked out at the stars and made a promise. "We will come back. We will be stronger. But for now, it is too late to stop this." As the human fleet sailed into the darkness, the Council's watchers remained, silent, hopeful, and uncertain. The quiet before the future months passed as the human fleet moved away from the known galaxy. Life aboard the ships was a mix of routine and reflection. The crew worked hard to maintain the ships, but their minds were often elsewhere, thinking about Earth, their lost homes, and what lay ahead. Mark spent time talking with others, listening to their stories. Many shared memories of battles fought and friends lost. Some wondered if leaving was the right choice, while others accepted it as necessary. One evening, Mark stood on the observation deck. The stars stretched out before him like diamonds on black velvet. He thought about the Council's visit, their questions, and their silent watch. A young engineer named Eva joined him. She smiled softly. "Do you think they understand why we left?" Mark nodded slowly. "I think they see more than they say. They know our pain, but they also see our strength." Eva looked out at the stars. "Maybe someday we will return, not as broken survivors, but as humans ready to take our place again." Mark smiled. "I hope so. For now, we heal. We rebuild. That is our real fight." Back in the Council chambers, the members debated what to do next. Varn said, "We must prepare. The galaxy is changing, and new threats will arise. If humanity returns, will they be allies or something else?" Laura replied, "They are survivors, and survivors are never truly gone. Their story is paused, not ended." Miko added, "We should keep watching, but also give them space. Sometimes the greatest respect is to let others find their own path." The Council agreed. They would remain silent watchers, hopeful for the future. Seeds of renewal. As the human fleet drifted through the vast emptiness, hope slowly began to grow among them. Life aboard the ships shifted from survival to renewal. Gardens were planted in hydroponic bays. Children were born, and stories were told of the stars they once knew. Mark found new purpose. He helped train a new generation of pilots, not for war, but for exploration and peace. He often spoke to the young ones about the lessons learned, about the strength found not just in battle, but in unity and hope. One day, a message arrived from a distant outpost. It was from a small colony that had survived the chaos on the edges of human space. They sent news of rebuilding, of communities growing stronger despite the hardships. The humans aboard the fleet shared the message with joy. It was a sign, a seed of renewal in the darkness. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council continued to watch. Miko smiled softly as he read the news. "They are healing," he said. "Maybe this departure was not the end, but a new beginning." Varn nodded. "Sometimes retreat is not weakness but wisdom. The galaxy will be ready to welcome them back when the time comes." Laura added, "And when they return, they will bring new strength, not just as warriors, but as healers and builders." Far from the stars they left behind, humanity was growing again. Slower, quieter, but stronger in ways that mattered most. The dawn of a new era years passed, and the human fleet no longer felt like refugees drifting through space. They had built a new home on a distant, quiet planet. The scars of their past still lingered, but their spirit was healing. The stars were no longer just places of war and loss. They were symbols of hope and future possibilities. Mark, now older and wiser, stood with the new generation of humans. Children played under alien suns, their laughter a gentle reminder that life goes on. The fleet had become a community, united not by fear, but by shared dreams. One evening, a message came through the deep space channels. It was from the Galactic Council. "Humanity," the voice said, calm and respectful, "we have watched your journey with hope. When you are ready, the galaxy will welcome you back, not as lost warriors, but as true partners." Miko's words echoed in Mark's mind. Their story is paused, not ended. The Council's decision was clear. They would wait patiently, giving humanity the time to grow and rebuild. When the day came for humans to return to the stars, it would be on their own terms. Mark looked up at the night sky, filled with stars, that seemed brighter than ever. It was too late to stop it, he whispered, but not too late to start again. The humans had left the galaxy behind once. But now, with renewed hope and strength, they were ready to return. The story of humanity was far from over. It was just the beginning of a new chapter.